Welcome to Seattle, Washington, and Key Arena, home of the 2010 WNBA champion Seattle Storm. Earlier today, the championship banner was unveiled, and the players received their rings from new WNBA President Laurel Richie, reigning MVP Lauren Jackson, and one of the top point guards in the WNBA, Sue Bird, among them, as the Storm begin defense of their title on ABC next. To the WNBA on ABC, presented by Pennzoil. It's season number 15 for the WNBA, starting today in Seattle. Two-time champion Storm, winners, of course, last year and also in 2004, taking on a team that also won a pair of titles in the Phoenix Mercury back in 2007 and in 2009. Hi, everybody. Alongside Rebecca Lobo, I'm Dave Pash. And, Rebecca, you played in the first WNBA game back in June of 1997. So what does this mean for you and for women's basketball?
Well, I think what's most striking is the improved play on the court. And when you look at this year's rookie class, this is the first generation of players that grew up watching the WNBA. They were in second grade when this league started. They've watched the league. They've aspired to play in the league. And as a result, the competition is much better than it was 15 years ago.
Well, Rebecca, it was a great year last year for Seattle. 28 wins during the regular season. They have all their pieces back, added a couple key ones, including Katie Smith. How do you like their chances to repeat?
Well, not only did they win last year, but they were dominant. They were undefeated at home. They were undefeated in the postseason as well. And when you look, they're returning their 5 starters, added Katie Smith, which is a huge piece. And they've got Lauren Jackson, the MVP last year. She is healthy once again. 6'6", drains the three-point shot, puts the ball on the floor, has that deadly fadeaway shot, and getting her the ball most of the time is Sue Bird. And I think in the playoffs last year, Sue Bird cemented her place as the best point guard in the world. She gets the players the ball when they need it, and she hits clutch shots.
Meanwhile, one of the best players, period, in the WNBA and in the world, Diana Taurasi on the other side for Phoenix.
And Diana Taurasi is the player that I enjoy watching the most because she just has such a passion for the game, a deep range on her threes, and there is no more confident player, and she should be poised to have even a better season this year because for the first time in her career, she had some rest in the offseason.
Although that time off, Rebecca, not by choice. An eventful offseason for Diana Taurasi. Heather Cox has that story.
Dave, last December, while playing professionally in Turkey, Diana Taurasi tested positive for an illegal stimulant and was banned from basketball. She denied the allegations, went so far as to take a polygraph to establish her innocence. Then in February, the Turkish Basketball Federation cleared her of wrongdoing after the lab retracted its report, admitting after 5 different athletes all tested positive for the same substance in a 6-week period that mistakes had been made. And this week, the World Anti-Doping Agency suspended that lab for 6 months. Taurasi told me without a doubt the events of this offseason were the toughest obstacles she's ever faced, saying there was a time I was broken, thinking the thing I love the most would be taken away from me forever. And Dave, she admitted her perspective has changed dramatically. Now that she can play again, she vows to enjoy every minute of it that much more.
And Heather, she might be the best at what she does, led the league in scoring each of the last 3 years. And she's joined in the starting lineup today by Tamika Johnson, Penny Taylor, who had a great 2010, Candace Dupree in her second year in Phoenix, and Kara Braxton, her first season as a member of the Mercury. For the champs, Sue Bird, Tanisha Wright, Swin Cash coming off a great year, now in her 10th season in the league, along with Camille Little, and the reigning MVP of the regular season and the finals, Lauren Jackson. Season number 15 in the WNBA is underway. Sue Bird, now 30 years of age, in her 10th year out of Connecticut, 6-time All-League. And Lauren Jackson with the first shot of the year, and she can't score inside.
In any game where Phoenix is playing, pace is so important. They take a lot of shots. They're highest scoring team in the league the last few years.
Here's Dupree and had it taken away by Camille Little. Nice play defensively. Seattle last year went perfect in the postseason. First WNBA team to go 7-0. So they went 35-6 a year ago as Little misses. We mentioned they added Katie Smith. Not starting. That's how good this Seattle team is. She's been a starter for previous 12 years in the league. Another turnover by Phoenix.
first game for both of these teams. It might be a little sloppy in the early going, especially for Seattle. A lot of emotions after that ring ceremony moments ago.
Here's Bird guarded by Johnson. Shot clock at 5. White will put it on the floor, get past Taurasi, and a missed layup. Here's Braxton posting up, her first 6 years spent in Detroit and Tulsa. Acquired in a trade middle of last season. Average 11 points per game in 13 games with the Mercury.
And she brings a presence that they haven't had in the past, and that's a punishing post player who can take up a lot of space in the lane.
Tanisha Wright shot 41% from three-point land a year ago, and she gets the first bucket of the year for Seattle. Here's Penny Taylor, had an outstanding 2010, now in her 10th season in the league.
And Penny Taylor's so good because she can shoot the three-point shot. She's very good putting the ball on the floor. Mid-range game, can take it all the way to the basket. A great compliment to Diana Taurasi on the perimeter.
They won the championship in 2009, also in 2007, so 3 of the last 4 winners of the WNBA title. With Seattle capturing the championship a year ago. Tamika Johnson gets around Bird. Tough shot. Altered by Lauren Jackson. Bird finds Little in the open floor. Gets the bucket.
While you know Phoenix wants to get up and down the floor, Seattle's not afraid to run with them. They are just a little bit more selective in the shots that they take in transition.
This layup by Phoenix, the Mercury leading the WNBA in scoring again last year. Their 5th consecutive year, but their problem was defense. They lost Kangela Smith also in the offseason. We'll see if that impacts this team as Swin Cash misfires on the three-point try. Braxton defended by Jackson. And was last touched by Lauren Jackson.
In transition, I don't think there's a better point guard making the decisions than Sue Bird. She waits to the right time to deliver the pass to Little, so all she has to do is go right up.
And an easy bucket for Phoenix off the inbound pass. Diana Taurasi on the board here in 2011. Taurasi leading the league in scoring for the last 5 years and 3 in a row. Got a Phoenix foul, first foul in the game.
Both of these teams coming out in a man-to-man, and these players know each other so well, playing 7 times last season, Seattle winning all 7 of those games.
Swept Phoenix, LA and Atlanta all in the playoffs, and Seattle had lost in the first round 5 straight years. You go in between the 2004 and 2010 championships, they had no success in the playoffs, and then they ripped through everybody in the postseason a year ago. Little will take it down the lane, and Dupree blocked it. But a foul called underneath on Taurasi. When they won at 0-4, a lot of people thought they'd win several more. Obviously, it took a while to get number 2.
Well, the difference is a healthy Lauren Jackson. And in many of those years where they lost in the first round, Lauren wasn't healthy through part of the regular season or in the playoffs. And also, from 2004 to 2005, they didn't retain all their starters, only brought 3 back. That's a difference with this team, this Seattle team. They've got all their starters coming back. And as we mentioned, Katie Smith is a great veteran who they'll have coming off the bench.
There's Brian Agler, the coach of the year in the WNBA a year ago. And Katie Smith, who turns 37 years of age today, has won a couple of championships, was a finals MVP. Meanwhile, Camille Little at the free throw line. And her 5th year out of North Carolina.
Camille Little, very offensive-minded so far here in the first quarter.
Last year averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds per game. Here's Taylor off a screen set by DeWanna Bonner, who's won the 6th Woman of the Year in the WNBA each of the last 2 years. First time that's happened. Taylor on the drive and a blocking foul called on Little. That's the first Seattle foul.
Penny Taylor, she, as I mentioned before, just so good off the dribble, very good at finishing, getting inside, creating contact, a very good free throw shooter.
89% a year ago, and also a career high in three-point percentage last year at 44%.
One left
And Heather Cox has more on Penny Taylor.
Well, Dave, right after her teammate Diana Taurasi tested positive in Turkey, and amidst all that controversy, Taylor was actually asked to take a drug test. She didn't refuse, knowing it would be an automatic 2-year ban, but she insisted the sample go to a different lab. And then immediately following that, to show her support for Taurasi, she chose to leave that Turkish team as well. She split the last 4 months between her native Australia and Phoenix to train. So she, too, very well rested and healthy as the season begins.
Tamika Johnson, Heather with the jumper. Rebecca, a lot of these players go year-round. So how much does the time off for Taylor and Taurasi help them for the WNBA?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge because it's the first time in many years, the first time in Diana Taurasi's career that she's had a chance to get this rest. And, the WNBA season is pretty brutal and pounding and just taxing on your body. So I think especially in the latter part of the season, you're really going to see it paying dividends for these two players in Phoenix.
Last year, the Mercury were 4 games under 500 in the regular season, made it to the conference finals, and as we mentioned, lost to Seattle. Taylor with a good look to her teammate Taurasi inside. Those two worked so well together.
Well, Taurasi saw that Tanisha Wright was cheating, expecting Taurasi to sprint out to the wing. Realized that, just did a quick backdoor cut and a nice feed by Penny Taylor.
6-0 Phoenix run. Good D by Bonner, knocked it out of bounds. It'll stay Seattle ball.
And on the scout, and you look for Diana Taurasi to go out to the wing. Instead, she makes a quick one step in that direction. Tanisha Wright bites. Taurasi an easy backdoor layup.
And the roar of the crowd for Katie Smith, acquired from Washington in a 3-team trade. Number 1 all-time in the history of the league in three-pointers, and she misses her first attempt as a member of the Storm.
Katie Smith, what she brings to this team is not only veteran leadership, but good decisions. She was a little eager and trigger happy on that last shot, but good decision maker. She is not going to hurt you by missing a defensive assignment or making a bad play.
Got that one. And she ties it at 10, her first 3 with Seattle. Tough shot by Taurasi, coming right back with it, too.
And Taurasi thought she got hit on the hand with a swing pass as well.
That's 6 now for Taurasi, half of Phoenix's total. Here's Smith again. LaCo Willingham, who is a member of Phoenix, won a title there, then came to Seattle last year and won a championship.
Katie Smith, a player who's not accustomed to coming off the bench, has been a starter her entire career. Not the case for LaCo Willingham. Very comfortable in that role last year with championship Seattle.
Bonner missing inside. Jackson ahead to swing catch. And a steal by Taurasi. Taurasi finds Bonner in transition. Wave it off, though. An offensive foul as Bird draws the charge.
Sue Bird is the decision maker for Seattle, and she knows that she's got a hot hand, and Katie Smith drains 3. Good sight for Seattle.